build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. Hello everybody, welcome to Short Bangers. I'm Matty.
Good morning, I'm Colin.
Good morning. Friday morning is when this episode is going out, recording it on Thursday night.
Waiting on the Partick Thistle game starts.
The old Championship playoff, or is it the Premiership playoff?
Premiership playoff, it gets called, because Ross County it is. Just watching them warming up now. 20 minutes to kick off.
The best thing about Partick is their mascot.
I don't know if it's still there.
I think so.
I don't know if it's still there.
It's a wee stroke of genius for whoever designed it.
It was like a designer guy, wasn't it? I can't remember. It was some artist or other. It was a publicity stunt. I don't know if he's still the mascot or not, but I'd quite like them to come up. I kind of got dragged into it all with the lockdown stuff and that. But actually, despite one of the teams involved, I kind of half agreed with them to an extent. I wouldn't have wanted the court cases and all that, but
no,
I just think it was a bit harsh. But so I wouldn't mind them coming, especially with it being Ross County. That's the opposition.
You can imagine how much loving the Cardigans would have for them when they do come up, if they do.
I know, but it's not. It's more like I think they're just a bit. Like I kind of respect the supporters, because they're from there and they don't support one another too. So,
bit patronising, bit early evening patronising. Good for you, Colin. Well done, Colin.
I was hoping to be condescending as well, if I could have fitted that
in. First question is from 150k on Hanlon Hill. The topic is tic-tac no lampposts. How many lampposts do you think there are in Edinburgh?
Oof.
What's tic-tac no lampposts? Is that a game?
That was when you used to pick teams, mind, at the start. You would pick teams, you would do tic-tac, and you could do the lampposts when you'd go down and touch with your head or something.
Do you know what? I did not register with me at all until as soon as you started describing it. I was like, I fucking get exactly what that is.
There was other things you could do as well. So it was no lamppost was that one. Was there no one that? Is there something to do with you could do a half step, because obviously you would get to the. Oh fuck! I can't remember all the different rules.
All the rules. It was an emotionally damaging experience, wasn't it? Like the picking the teams when you were wee, the things, because you would be like, you never ever wanted to be fucking last.
Aye.
And sometimes it would happen that you would be last. No, off.
Did it? I don't ever recall happening. But it was one of them. You think, I'll not get picked first, but I might get picked. I'll not get picked last at least. But then you do feel sorry for the person that gets picked last day, because they know that's going to be them. It's always the same person, people.
Aye. Right, how many lampposts? That is a weird question. How many lampposts do you think there are in Edinburgh?
That's weird. There's got to be. There's thousands, right? But how many we gone? How many thousands? Are we close to 100,000? Do you think? Or
there's no 100,000 lampposts.
Nah.
Nah. I would say there's nowhere close to it.
And where does Edinburgh start and end? Is it the postcode EH, or is it like the City of Edinburgh Council?
The City of Edinburgh, I think you would go with. Because I reckon how many streets, right? Because is there more than 1,000 streets?
No, what does ChatGPT say?
Okay.
Ask him. Ask that cunt. By the way, on that though, I was listening to Alistair Campbell's podcast. Mentioned it before, I think, on here the other day. Yesterday I was listening to it, in fact, and they'd done a whole bit on AI and ChatGPT. And they were talking about how the engineers of it, or whatever they're called, don't even really know how it works, which is, they're saying, a wee bit worrying, because then if they think it could take over the fucking world, and the people that are building it and designing it don't know how exactly it works, then it could fucking take over. It could just fucking decide to start up itself and say, fuck it, we're going to take the world. We're going to take the world over. Anyway, get out of it. The interesting bit I thought was that it was something to do with an economic paper, right? They wanted to know who the world's most renowned economic I don't know, fucking dossier, right? Was
and
it come back saying, "Oh, it's won by Matty Fermi and Colin, and it's called fucking Economics for Dummies," right? Doesn't exist. They've just picked words that are common for that topic, and the two most prominent people that are associated with the economy or whatever, and that's what it returned. So it's still obviously that's how you. So these answers we're getting out here, we can't guarantee they're factually accurate. Is kind of where I'm going with.
Well, ChatGPT said it was unknown.
Well, that's what he's asking, though.
Yeah, it said that its data's too old, right? So it doesn't go back or doesn't have the most up to date. But it also said the exact number of streets in the city can vary depending on factors such as new developments, changes in infrastructure, and urban planning. So I guess two.
It's a moving feast.
Aye.
What was it at last count then? Or they never counted it?
I don't know. I googled it as well, and Google just doesn't give you a straight answer.
Well, I think this should be in the taxi brief exam. So I think a black cabby should be able to tell us the answer to this. They must know how many streets there are in Edinburgh, right? Because they don't know them all. They need to get the names of them. Even that's the thing, right? Like, so I've got a black cab driver in the family, and hates Uber and all that, right? Because he's had to pass an exam to drive his car, and the boys didn't have to pass an exam. But why do they need to pass an exam? Because you've got fucking sat-navs.
Aye.
Is it really just in case the sat-nav breaks down? Is that why?
And how likely is that? You'd have backup.
How antiquated is that?
Yeah.
How antiquated the system is that, eh? To drive a black cab, you need to pass this really fucking hard exam, memorising streets and tell me the quickest way from there to there. That's what fucking sat-nav's for.
Yeah.
Right, I get it when there wasn't such a thing as sat-nav. So why? It just doesn't make sense.
Sat-nav will take you the quick route with taking into consideration traffic and that now, so it's an upgrade.
The live ones, aye. That's right. Doesn't make sense, eh?
Speaking of that kind of thing, right, I think we've spoke about it on here before about autonomous cars, right?
Is that a driverless one you mean?
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Driverless. They're putting a bus service on, driverless buses going across the Forth Road Bridge.
Oh, you've mentioned that before, or you spoke to me about it, whether it was on here or not.
I like the idea and everything, but I like the idea of going over a fucking bridge over the Forth. No. I said, why would you... That surely you've got so little margin for error there.
Aye.
And if it goes
is that why they're doing it though? Because they're saying it's like one of the first ones, or the first one, and we'll do it in the one that's the most sort of precarious, and like, look, this works, so why would you not let it fucking drive you through the town?
Aye, maybe. Did they used to have the driverless buses before in Edinburgh? Mind out at the Gyle. Do you know where the tram goes past Broomhouse and that? Right. There used to be, like, that road was designed for the buses, and they had like a buffer on them. That's the best way to describe it,
like a bowling alley thing.
Aye.
Or a dodgem.
And I can't remember if they were driverless for that, or like the driver didn't need to drive it over that wee section, and then it turned into like a normal bus after, where the driver would take over. But the other thing is they've got like a steward on the bus. Right, for the driverless one, they've got somebody there to man it in case it goes wrong.
But that's what they're doing. But that's what Tesco that's what Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's self-service.
Aye, but what that does though is that stops you needing, so it can serve 8 people with one person making sure they're all right, rather than 8
but they can't,
queues.
so it takes longer. But I get that. But then the bus driver, the guy that's there, is he a skilled bus driver, or is he just a person that's doing that job? So they can probably pay somebody less because they're less skilled, in inverted commas, to do that because they've not got the light. I'm sorry, my screen's flashing. You hear my screen's flashing, I think.
Why?
I've got to tell you. And Sky Sport, the fucking colours, I've just realised what's happening. I'm looking at it thinking, why is my camera fucking flashing? It's because that keeps going to Screwfix adverts and all that. So that's what it is. But so you're less skilled than me, say, right? Well, you're less skilled than me, right? And I can drive a bus, you can't.
Yep.
So we'll stick you on the driverless one because you're going to cost less money than me.
Aye, but if it goes wrong, I've got to step in and stop it going wrong.
Aye, but what would that be? You're not going to drive it. You just got to handbrake it and get everybody off. You just need to know the emergency procedures. Unless they drive it back, if they then drive it back. But there's
or be good at swimming.
There's different levels of the driver as well, though, because you get my driving license did. I think it's expired now. But when I got mine, because I done mine that fucking long ago in the olden days, I could drive like minibuses and that automatically as soon as I passed my driving test. But somebody that passes it now, you now need to go and do a different test. However, I could drive. So my dad had coaches and minibuses. I could drive one of the minibuses, but I couldn't drive it with paying passengers. I could drive it where I could get all using it and go, right, let's go fucking go for a jolly down the beach or something. Could do that. But if I was to say five or ahead, can I? Because you need to pass a test to prove you can drive it, even though you can legally drive it if you're not charging you. Was that the TCD or something? Mentally.
What do you think that test involves? Can you wave to other bus drivers?
Flash your lights, put your horn.
Aye. Can you adopt a surly attitude?
Hope it does, no listening.
And are you good at sort of picking and choosing your own time to turn up?
Aye. Or not turn up at all. If you're a loathy bus driver, just you're on the radar 1 minute, you're on the hang, and then next minute it's fucking 40 minutes the next bus. And you go, what happened to that one that was due in 5 minutes? It's just fucking fucked off somewhere.
And how good are you not giving a single fuck when somebody complains about it?
I know.
I'm here now, eh?
I tell you what, right? Do you get I don't know if you get X's towards your way, but you get the express buses are like 3 or 4 a day each direction. And it doesn't stop from the wine glass or whatever it's called now. I can't fucking remember the name of it. And then it doesn't stop again to Liberton Hospital, right? See the amount of times that they'll come over the mic, because most of them have got a microphone, they'll say that's the last stop till Liberton Hospital. Seconds later, ding ding, somebody try to go for the Minto Hotel, and the driver, they just fucking leave them standing there in the aisle, And you think, what, like, you just think it's got X for it. The boys tell you, and yet you've just still got up at the stop or 2 stops later. Fuck it, let me off though.
Aye, probably raging about it as well when they didn't get let off.
Yeah, raging. And he's like, because I've seen some of them go up to him before, and he's like, you need to sit back down, but it's up in hospital. And then they're like, well, how am I going to get back for there? He's like, we need to go over there side of the road and get a fucking bus back down.
Did they get 1 man accident though?
Well, you can't. But you're right. But you can't, because the X's come into town in the morning and out of town at night. You didn't get it. They're on both ways, you see. It's impossible.
All right, Alex, Fattest Pricker said, inspired by Leon's question, and you'll need to subscribe to find out Leon's. Be a subscriber to get Leon's question. Although you will get a flavour of it, no pun intended, from this follow-up one from Fattest Prickers. Would you rather watch the first 10 minutes of your ma blowing your da, or the last 10 seconds of it?
Fuck's sake, man. It's going to be the shortest.
Same answer,
shortest period possible, isn't it?
I think we'll give a spoiler away, but
no. God, fucking hell. We've got some horrible minds listening to this.
I know.
Who asked that?
Fattest Prickers.
Oh, fucking mate, I guess.
Because the therapy, like if you're only having to block out 10 seconds of memory for your, traumatic experiences,
it's got to be the shortest time.
Aye. Right, Ian T asked, emojis, yes or no, and are some folks using them as a form of passive aggression?
Aye. I like emojis. I prefer GIFs though. I'm a fan of the GIF.
Are you quite skilled at the GIFs as well, Colin? Which is
thank you. I appreciate that. I like it. I just search. I just put it's good to it's the search term you use. I think is the best way.
I thought GIFs would have been something that you would not have given a fuck about. Do you know, if I'm honest with you, would have been a fucking waste of time. That's what I would have thought. And then,
I could communicate by GIF rather than words.
I think there are a few folk in our friendship groups that use GIFs as well as you do.
Good. I do like it. I sit and laugh at when I'm picking. But emojis, I do use emojis as well. But when I was a poster on the message boards, I found that if you didn't put an emoji in, folk would take me too seriously.
Aye.
Because I'm rarely serious. Did get in some arguments and that right enough, but when I'm trying to be flippant about something, if you just put it down in words, folk didn't get it.
Yep.
Tone doesn't come across properly, and you need. Even if folk are trying to make a serious point, like if you're making a serious point, you shouldn't add a fucking daft emoji, right? Because it takes the seriousness out of it.
I think sometimes folks stick them in as a cop out as well. Like, there is a passive aggressive bit where they'll say something that's intended as a dig, and then they'll put the smiley at the end and go, like I wasn't really meaning it. I quite like now using the Apple CarPlay in the car, and you get a text message through a WhatsApp, and it reads it out, and it reads out what emoji folk have used.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then you have to picture it because you can't obviously see it. So, like the see no evil monkey. That's been there's two of them. All right. I wonder if you knew the names for them all, whether you could construct a message specifically for it to be read out that would make sense for the recipient. Probably not, because it would say the word emoji in it.
Oh, because it says emoji, aye. Because it does that on the, like, as you know, I use the AirPods when I'm out walking the dog and that, and I'll text you via that. Oh, fuck. I had a nightmare the other day. As you know, I gave up, but I sent the same message about 3 times and it kept going, do you want to send or edit or change? It says, I change. Say it again. And try and pronounce words a bit differently. And I ended up going, like, fuck it. So I just let it go. And I thought, well, I think that should make sense better or less. And then I just sent one saying, and fuck, sorry, but sorry, by the way. Just so you had to read that out, another prick.
Do you think there's anybody that has the accent that works perfectly with it? Because it's potluck. If I try reading or dictating a text message, it's fucking nothing like what I try to say.
No. I mean, what was the word the other day? I said free kick or something, and it came out as like fucking
free cacks or something. Was it free quacks?
Free cacks. Aye, I had to look it up. What the fuck's that?
In the end, so when I'm texting Jane for the car and reading it out, I'll just say, "Fuck knows what this is going to say," but I'll not change it when it says, "Do you want to change it?" I'll read it out, and I'll just go send. Just fucking send it.
There you go with that, Jane. Fucking
absolute
enjoy.
Fucking potluck,
Proofread her wife. You'll love that.
Try to make sense of that. But right. Long story short, yes, I think we were in favour of emojis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but GIFs preferably over that.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Yeah, so if you're tweeting us, tweet us with a GIF as well, rather than an emoji.
Funny ones, though.
I tell you who's good for adding a wee photo onto their questions. 150k on Hanlon Hill. Always has somebody sort of looking puzzled or quizzical or confused.
I've seen them now and again. Now you say that, yeah.
Right, Fats Pickers, this can be answered by Short Bangers, and he's referencing a question from Wheatus, which is, do normal birds roll their eyes at mockingbirds?
What's the song? By the way, the Pacific Thistle mascot does still exist because it's on the pitch right now. What's the song? What's the song he's referencing here?
No, I don't think it's just like, do normal birds roll their eyes at mockingbirds? Right, so you have mockingbirds.
Right?
Oh,
and they're mocking.
But if they're taking the piss, I can't really have to explain this one, Colin.
I know. It came out as I got distracted by that fucking mascot.
It's a Kingsley. Kingsley's fucked it for you.
Aye. I know. It's a good question and it's quite funny. And I apologise that I fucked that up.
I think, by the way, birds are vicious. I remember we went to pick up Josh from coaching in Glenorchy, right? So Warout Park. And there was, I'm trying to remember who was victorious in this exchange. I think it was a crow and a seagull had killed a pigeon and were eating
Right.
it.
Aye.
But the pigeon, they had a bit of a fight, and then there was 2 crows. I think the seagull was involved in it. Just 2 crows had killed a pigeon. And I thought, that's fucking brutal.
Where did they catch it?
Don't know. But I wasn't sure if it was like a fight that got out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just went, well, fuck it, we've come this far, we might as well just eat the cunt now.
Aye.
Or if they'd killed it specifically to eat it. But I was like, that was quite horrible.
Cannibalism.
Aye.
Or whatever it's called for birds.
But birds don't they give a fuck about that, eh? They quite happily eat other birds. Because there's a thing that now, it was Top Flight Time Machine, wasn't it? They were talking about pigs, being careful what you feed pigs to make sure you don't feed them products that contain pig, because it can be really bad for them.
Oh, right, I missed that, but I did listen to it. But I didn't notice it.
Apparently.
Is that why humans can eat humans then? What's the deal with that? Like, why can you know?
I don't know. Like,
The hygiene hangover.
Well, I don't know if it's hygiene. Hold on.
There must be a reason.
ChatGPT. I hope they doesn't track all your questions, eh?
I know.
Why is it that
you'll get lifted?
Don't eat other humans.
Aye, apart from being illegal in that.
Apart from being illegal. So they typically don't eat other humans. I like it typically. Humans.
But some folk do, eh?
Yeah. Due to a combination of biological, cultural, and ethical reasons. Number 1, evolutionary adaptation. Humans, like many other primates, are social animals with complex social structures. Our evolutionary history and social instincts have shaped a preference for cooperation and development of moral norms that discourage harming or eating members of our own species. There's disease transmission as well.
I thought it was something to do with that.
Consuming human flesh can carry significant health risks. Doesn't mention anywhere in this about taste.
But it tastes nice. Some people taste nice.
Because do you think it would be better for the environment if humans ate humans? Do you know, like once, not killing people for food, but the folk that died, and we've talked about like the whole funeral scam stuff before. But if they just use that as a food source and you didn't have to farm them, would that be more environmentally friendly?
Would folks
I'm not suggesting it.
Would folks start breeding humans to just kill them like they do with sheep and that?
Cattle and that, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, we're out of time. Thanks for your questions this week, folks. We will be back with another episode on Tuesday morning, which we're just going to record in a second. So watch out for that. And if you want to hear more, go to our Twitter and click on the wee link and you can subscribe from less than the price of a large McDonald's coffee every month. Right, take care. We'll see you next time. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.